This past July, Tia, a single mom, and her 76-year-old father set out on a hike. Tia and her dad had been on the mountain for 3 hours and were on their way down when they came across a badly injured dog, his owners nowhere in sight. Tia knew the dog wouldn't be able to make it down the steep mountain on his own, so she picked up the 55-pound Springer Spaniel and carried him for 6 hours on her shoulders to the base of the mountain.
So you're on this hike with your dad, normal day. You see this dog. What was it like at first? Did you think it was like a wild animal? Like, how often do you see just dogs alone on a hike?
It actually was not alone. It was with another family who had found him, yes. And they asked if it was my dog, and I said no. And they didn't know what to do because they had little children with them that they had never hiked this hike before, and it was a really hard hike. And so we came together and decided that I would carry him down and look for help. And he was pretty beat up, so he couldn't walk.
How long had he been out there? Do you know?
He was, at that point in time, I did not know. For all I knew, he could have been out there for a week.
Oh.
And you carried him from 6 hours, you carried him on your back, right?
6 miles, 6.5 hours it took me.
Yeah. I mean, you were hiking through snow. I mean, there's snow in these pictures.
Yes, we had to hike through snow. We had lost the trail at one point. It was one of the hardest things I've done in my life.
You must have very strong quads.
I do. I was a gymnast, so I have very strong quads.
Because he's not light. He's like, he's 50 pounds, you said, right?
55 pounds.
Wow.
He's
6
very
hours.
heavy.
And how's Boomer doing today?
He's doing really well under the circumstances. He was 6 weeks in a cast.
Oh, wow.
And we have a specialist that we have to go to, which is 4 hours away from where I live, and he will have a surgery done where they will fuse the joint because he, this paw right here, the joint was separated and the ligaments were ruptured. And remarkably, that's the only injuries besides some scratches, bruises, and swelling that he attained. So being up on that mountain.
Boomer will, hopefully he'll have a full recovery.
He will never be the same on that paw.
Yeah.
But we're going to get him to the point where maybe he can run around on it, hopefully start using it again.
Could you tell us what's going on when your dad took this picture?
Oh.
Like, what's going on here?
I was really dead. I wanted to stop. I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I was almost in tears. You know, every time that I would set him down, I had to squat all the way down to my bum and then lay down so that I could let him down gently so that I wouldn't injure him anymore. And I got underneath him to pick him up to go again. And just felt the tears coming. And
Loves you.
And he, I said a little prayer at that point because the weight was hurting my neck. I had a really bad headache. My legs just felt like they were going to crumble at any moment. And as I said that prayer, I literally felt the weight lift off of my shoulders. And I thought, okay, there must be a lost hiker that's behind me helping me. So I turned around probably 5 or 6 times looking for someone. There was nobody there. And at that point, I knew that that divine intervention was happening. I was getting help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And mind you, this is a stranger's dog. This isn't even your dog. This is a dog you found, and you're going through this wild experience. How did you find the owners of this dog? What was that process?
We did have some people up on the trail that had told the people that found him that there was a note at the bottom of the trail, and we called the owners, and their first question was, is he dead?
Oh.
Because they saw him and he wasn't moving, and they assumed that he was dead, right?
Yeah, he fell off a 100-foot cliff, they told me, and he rolled 200 feet. And they ran, because they unleashed him up towards the top, and he ran out onto a snow crevice and slipped. And when they looked over the edge, he was just laying there, and he looked dead. And they had to go around the switchbacks to find where he was, and when they got there, he was no longer there. So they assumed maybe he crawled under a bush and died. They stayed till dark looking for him. So
after you contact the original family, you're talking to them, and then tell us, why do you have the dog now?
When they came and got the dog, I've actually never met the owners. They were in the middle of moving to Arizona. And they had, that hike was supposed to be their last hoorah with Boomer before they gave him to the new owners. And it kind of pulled at my heartstrings all night long, and I slept on it, and I woke up the next day, and the first thought was, that dog's supposed to be mine.
Yeah.
So I messaged them, and I said, would you be willing to talk to them? I would really like to have Boomer. Yeah. We bonded up on that hill, and they did.
Y'all conquered mountains together.
We did, and we really did.
Yeah.